Thanks for joining us. Welcome to PO Sports Talk. I'm Ed Gottwalls along with Colin Stevens. We thought we were going to do this on location again tonight in Shippensburg, but it's kind of lousy weather, so we decided to take the easy route here and go inside.
It's pretty crummy out there today.
The local football season's down to just one game now, or one team, I guess I should say. It could be more than one game, and that's Shippensburg. The Greyhounds took a 10-7 win over Greencastle last week in the first round. That was a huge win for them because it's a rival game, and it was their first district playoff win ever. But now they've got an even tougher task this Friday. They play Lampeter Strasburg in the quarterfinals, and Lampeter Strasburg is ranked number 2. They're 11-1, I guess, and this is going to be a much different kind of game. I have a feeling for Shippensburg. There's one common opponent between the two teams. Shippensburg lost 20-14 to Northern. LS last week in the first round beat Northern 42-6. Doesn't seem to bode too well for the Hounds, does it?
Yeah, especially since that 42-6 score was the halftime score.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like also that might have a lot to do with Northern, and maybe they just weren't prepared for that game. It was 21-0 at the end of the first quarter, and Northern threw a pick six, and they just let Lampeter Strasburg, do anything they wanted at will. I don't think Shippensburg will do that. They won't lay down, and their defense will keep them in this game, just kind of like they did against Greencastle in the first two meetings. And Shippensburg's really already played 2 playoff games. Both those games against Greencastle were playoff atmosphere games, so they are already used to playing in tight games where they know they need to play four full quarters. But
it's hard to say, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's a little tongue twister. But Lampeter Strasburg, they didn't have that pressure last week, and if they get under some pressure, they might falter.
Well, Shippensburg does have a habit of playing low-scoring games when they're playing a good team because their defense is good enough they're not going to give up too many points, and their offense against a good team is probably not built to score a lot of points, but they do control the clock. So that kind of plays in the hand a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And we saw last week they can also pass the ball. They only threw it 4 times last week, but one of them was a pretty big strike there to Jeremy Musser for a 52-yard touchdown. So they might have to pass a little bit more in this game, but for sure they're going to want to keep the run game going, get William Burt, Jeremy Ray, Tony Johnson going. But if it does come into Whitmer's hands, they do have a big play threat, but Lampeter Strasburg also intercepted a pass for a touchdown last week, so they definitely don't want to be passing all day if they don't have to.
I'm sure Eric Faust's game plan would be run the ball, control the clock, don't let Lampeter Strasburg's offense get because I know they're pretty explosive.
Oh, for sure. They don't change their game plan for anybody. They try to will themselves. So.
Yeah. One thing I do see, Lampeter Strasburg has some experience in the playoffs. Shippensburg has some, but LS got to the semifinals last year before they lost to Bishop McDevitt. And I imagine most of the same players are back.
Yeah, and that definitely could be, a result for their huge win last week. They were prepared. They already know what a playoff game is like. Shippensburg, this is definitely new territory for them. But, again, I still don't see that playing as huge of a factor as we might think it is.
Okay. I ask you for your prediction on this game.
All right, I've been wavering on this one, and I'm actually gonna go with Ship in this one.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like that. I like that Chambersburg score last week, so I'm just gonna flip it in Shippensburg's favor, 21-20 for the Greyhounds.
Okay, that's being optimistic. I'm afraid I'd probably have to pick the other way, but you're the boss in this one. This one only.
Okay. All right.
Speaking of Chambersburg, let's throw out some credit to the Trojans. They put a big scare in number 4 seed Daniel Boone last week before losing 21-20 in a quad A first-round game. The Trojans led 20-7 with like 7 minutes to go, and then Daniel Boone scored 2 touchdowns, and then they got a 2-point conversion with like 1:26 left in the game. 2 things I'd like to say with that. One is this is great experience for Chambersburg, which is a really young team.
For sure.
And I think they expect to be a player next year in the playoffs, and I think they've got a chance of doing that. I think it also says something about how strong the division is they play in. 4 of the teams they lost to this year won playoff games last week. So, the quality they're facing is on a weekly basis is pretty top notch, and I think that's one reason why they're able to give Daniel Boone a scare, because I don't think Daniel Boone's schedule is quite as strong.
Yeah, and this is definitely something they're going to be able to build on. Another year in the weight room. That's what it seems like all these coaches talk about is these playoff games are won in February and March. The linemen hitting the weight room, and I think Jamal Pickett and Jordan Brown, they'll be forces for years to come here. They just need to get bigger and stronger so they can go through a full season and
stay healthy.
Stay healthy, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So this is definitely something great to build on, and next year we'll definitely see them back in the playoffs.
I think so. All right, thanks again for joining us for Sports Talk. Have a good week and enjoy that one game.
What up?